It's not PTSD. It's TBI that's causing the problems with you mentally, and it can be fixed. If you're a vet out there and you're anywhere between 43 and 50 and you're having massive problems with cognitive stuff, stuttering your words, balance, like we all know, like anybody in our line of work has TBI. Like it's 100% guaranteed you got TBI.
I have a small podcast that we're doing for studies on different treatment modalities, including psychedelics and cold plunge and all that stuff. A buddy of mine is just into that and into reviewing the studies, and it works. I mean, we've done a few. And
in 2017, I was coaching football up in Illinois. Me and two strength coaches were having really bad problems, man, like slurring our words. They both played in the NFL. It was bad, man. So we were like, Joe Rogan, well, all three of us are dying in our own little worlds, forgetting how to get to work. It's 15-minute drive, all that stuff. So Joe Rogan had some dude on that had this book called the Concussion Repair Manual. So like literally for 6 months, we took a deep dive into everything, man. And then I went to the Cleveland Clinic, maybe like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months after we started it. And like, it was crazy. So like I made a PDF for brain health, oxygen treatment, like live O2, supplements, red light treatment. So I'll send it to you.
Okay. I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, I got a few things going. It's, I'm working with, first off, I run in a company, Onyx Industries, and we have some airdrop equipment, and we've got some, payloads for unmanned systems that we work on, mainly, unmanned weapon system that we've been working on for about 3 years. It's coming out soon. So, plug for Onyx Industries, doing some good work there. It's a good company, and hopefully we're growing and we'll be able to start bringing more vets in. We've got a small team right now, but it's kind of been my dream is to start a company or companies and provide somewhere to go, somewhere to land, whether it's well after you've gotten out or right after you've gotten out. Like I'd love to mentor and help guys in that respect. I mean, because maintaining the mission and having a community is a big part of thriving once you're out, that I've found. So I want to provide that from that platform. Additionally, I'm working with VETsolutions, and they are really they're doing their best. I think they're making a huge impact on Marcus Capone is helping with operator syndrome and all that stuff with the retreat down in Mexico, and helping guys with psychedelics, really pushing legislation in Texas. And they're spearheading it, man. They're making some really great things happen. And I think that's what we need to do, is get the word out that there's hope, there's help, and it works. I've gone through it myself, and it's life-changing, and I think there's a lot of stigma behind those treatment modalities, and it's legacy. It's not real. The data is showing that the stuff is near miraculous in what it does for pattern interruption and treating addiction, and also in turn breaking that pattern of negative thought, that little voice in your head that tells you, that you're not enough and you got to do more and you got to chase perfection and that kind of stuff. So, there's hope out there. I've seen a lot of guys go from the end to a new beginning. So it's really inspiring to me, and it helped me. I have a personal experience with it. So check out VETsolutions. I'm a huge advocate and trying to do whatever I can to help those guys and everybody, find their way along their journey to be the better version of themselves. My thought on it is quickly, we go through a pipeline to become whatever it is that we're going to become. We endure, unimaginable for a lot of people suffering for to start the process of being who we want to be in that career field, the prospective career field. Families are destroyed because of it, like even friendships, everything, as you move through that, you lose people. Like it's a crazy thing to volunteer for. And it's an even crazier thing, I think, to go through the amount of suffering you have to go through to get to that point, just to be able to, like I said, start the process. So why not? I kind of look at it from that perspective. It's like, if you have a pipeline to get in, we should have a pipeline to get out, and if we could take all the good stuff that we learned from all these experiences, while we're in, I mean, guys are monsters coming out. Like they're capable of anything, but I think we get muted to an extent, transferring from the inside to the outside. Because when you're in, you have the team, you've got the support. You kind of have a paycheck that you count on. When you get out, it's all on you. You're alone. And I think that isolation is really, can be crippling. And it was for me in particular. After 10 years, I finally got to the point where I just couldn't push through anymore the way that I've been doing it. So I think that the VETsolutions, just some other organizations that are doing some great stuff with developing a pipeline for all this stuff, like what works, what's real, what's vaporware. Let's get this in a quasi pipeline. Let's start pushing dudes through it and exposing them to all these different treatment modalities. Because everybody's a little bit different in what works for them. Education is key, and demystifying and working around, the security clearance stuff and getting guys help, because we're losing guys too fast. I mean, one is too much. I lost, 3 buddies this year, to that stuff, beautiful men doing great stuff, but doing the things that all of us dream about doing, and all of a sudden they're gone. And there's nothing we could do about it at that point. So I'm like, get help before you're at crisis, please reach out. If for nothing else, I'd say anybody can reach out to me anytime, and I'll make time to chat and give you some options, help you, get to that into the process, to finding your way, to get treatments. I think we really do. I don't want to say disservice, man. It's a journey. It's a learning process for everything. We got 20 plus years of combat. We haven't experienced that in multiple lifetime, multiple generations. So how do you deal with that? We're learning. So. Yeah.
And so I'm going to put a little plug in here on top of yours, man. I got a brain PDF. I was talking to you about it before. Some of the things that vets need to understand. And I did a deep dive, man. I'd kind of like you, right? Like, they had some massive problems manifesting themselves when I turned about 47. And I was like, oh my God. And so one of the things I learned when I went to the Cleveland Clinic, so I got to go to the Cleveland Clinic on the Green Beret Foundations. They have a Green Beret Foundation team partnership with the Cleveland Clinic and in the functional medicine department. And one of the neat things I learned was that your oxygen level, your body's ability to produce oxygen at 42 falls below the threshold for your brain to be able to repair itself every night. And so what happens is you start getting a cascade effect. Every night you're getting a little bit behind. And it normally takes about 5 years for it to start seeing physical effects, right? And so at 47, these physical effects started coming to light. I started having problems. I'm like, oh my God. And then, I was in coach college football at Illinois, and I had a couple of good dudes with me, and we started a deep dive, man. And, oxygen treatment, red light therapy, nootropics, like all of these things. And then we found the concussion repair manual, which basically talks about, just like you said, everybody's different. It takes they call it a soup. It takes different ingredients in the soup to fix a person. And like, I got a PDF, email me. I'll put the link in my stuff. Just email me for it. My bot will send it to you. It's free. I ain't getting nothing out of it. We're just trying to help vets. But if you're a vet out there and you're anywhere between 43 and 50 and you're having massive problems with cognitive stuff, stuttering your words, balance, like we all know, like anybody in our line of work has TBI. Like it's 100% guaranteed you got TBI. And how bad it is, when you get that breaking point at 42, it's going to start manifesting itself. Reach out. It's not, I'm going to say this, and I know I got some people, but it's not PTSD. It's TBI that's causing the problems with you mentally, and it can be fixed, right? Like I tell everybody, oxygen treatment is probably, live O2 exercise with oxygen is probably one of the most monumental things that I've experienced in the last, really, I'm 53, so 7 years. It literally put me back at 25 years old. And, I played football, I wrestled, I was a SEAL, you got blast, you got the 60s, you got all that bad stuff. So I just want people to understand, like, I know you're in a dark place right now. You don't have to be, but you do got to take some steps. You got to reach out for help. And I will tell you this, it's not going to get better. Like, it's not going to get better at the bottom of a bottle. It's not going to get better unless you take physical actions to get some help. Reach out. I know, Chris, you're talking about Abigail down in Mexico, like all the good stuff that the guys have access to. Marcus Capone is doing all that stuff. Like, there's 1,000 things out there, but sitting in your house, drinking in a bottle, petting your dog is going to lead. Yeah, it's going to lead to a really bad life, man. And I know a lot of people out there have been through it. They've been through divorce. I got a buddy whose whole family disowned him, like his 3 kids. He hasn't talked to his 3 kids in like 10 years, man. Some of that stuff is so hard to bear that if you don't get your brain fixed, like the end is inevitable. So awesome, brother. Well, shoot, Chris, man, I commend you. Thank you so much, man. Fire.
Mental health thing. I think all of us thought that we're broken or different. It's just that's not the truth. None of us are broken. All that light and love is underneath you. It's just buried under a lot of stuff that we get piled up with life, man. It's natural. Everybody's going through it. You're not alone. You're worthy right now. You just got to take those steps yourself. And fixing getting to that, back to that point of purity is up to you. You got to do the work. So do the work. There is something you can do about it.